What is an overlap? How are they used? My name is Matt Zinn, and that's what I'm going to walk you through in this video. We get that question all the time. In basic traffic, we know what a phase is, we know what a pedestrian phase is, we know what detection is, but what is an overlap? An overlap is actually an indication at the intersection that really is timed by multiple different phases. So we call that a parent phase that is driving an overlap, and we can have multiple. We can have one phase driving an overlap. We can have every phase driving an overlap if we wanted to. Today, we'll just talk about a two-phase overlap. Basically, let's talk about a right turn overlap. How do we get that right green arrow to come up, and when does that come up, and how do we set that up? So let's look at our overlaps. We'll go into the controller. Overlaps are under section 3. We'll do vehicle overlaps. We'll select an overlap set. We actually have 4 overlap sets. We hit 1 for our first overlap. Now we can figure out how to set up this overlap. So our right turn overlap, we usually have a conflicting left turn and the through phase, which drives the overlap. So let's call that a 2-3 overlap. So it's a normal overlap. The 2 phases that are going to drive it are phases 2 and 3. We've set up the overlap. That's all we need to do right now. That will make sure that that green and yellow and red arrow will show up every time phase 2 is on and every time phase 3 is on. So that's a basic normal overlap. What other types of overlaps do we have? Well, we have minus green yellow overlap. If you have a 5-section head and you have a green and a yellow arrow, you need to have that overlap set up for that 5-section head. We also have flashing yellow arrows. This is probably the most popular overlap that we have. It's used more often now than it has been in the past, and everybody is starting to use flashing yellow arrows. So this is the flashing yellow arrow overlap. We have a modified flashing yellow arrow where we don't display the red, and this is for those conditions where we go strictly from a green arrow to a flashing yellow arrow. We go green arrow, yellow arrow, and then straight to the flashing yellow arrow without going through a red. That is the no red. And then we have a flashing red arrow where instead of flashing the yellow, we flash the red. So those are our overlaps. Pretty easy to set up. A flashing yellow arrow is a little bit more complicated because we do have the fact that we have to set up a protected phase and an opposing through phase. But in essence, an overlap, again, is strictly being able to provide multiple indications from parent phases timings. That's an overlap. We do have ped overlaps, I'll mention as well. They operate the same way as a vehicle overlap, except that the pedestrian phases are driving the pedestrian overlaps. And in our controller, we have the ability to include phases, exclude phases, and use detector calls for our ped overlaps. We also have walk and clearance and steady all yellow time or all red time, just like a regular pedestrian would have if we wanted to time an overlap separately. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos like this in the future as we address some of your frequently asked questions. To learn more, or if you have any other questions, please visit the Swarco McCain website.